Well, I gotta tell you, I'm really blown away by this museum. Hi everybody, I'm Randy, and today we're going to the National U.S. Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. And actually I say we, but it's really just me. Diane is not feeling that well today, so I'm going to go solo. She's staying back at the Airstream and is going to rest. Looks like we're getting close. Looks like there's an airport at least here, and that might be the museum over there. Yeah, that's the museum. Come around this corner, we're gonna start to be able to see it. The place is huge. Wow. This is our exit. National Museum of the United States Air Force. I gotta turn the camera so you can see this. Sorry for the antenna in the middle of it, but we're now on the Air Force base. I'm gonna turn that just a little bit so you can see. They do have RV parking, it looks like, so that's good. All right, we're heading in. 2 section. This is a P-36A Hawk and a P-35. So behind me is Bhaskar. This is the B-29 bomber that flew over Japan and dropped the nuclear weapons. That's one of the nuclear weapons, and that's the other one. That's Fat Man, and that's Little Boy. Behind me is an A-10. These were known for their big machine guns mounted right up here in the front. So behind me is a British Tornado used in Desert Storm. It was used to take out runways and other tactical bombing missions. Behind me we have the SR-71 Blackbird. This was a reconnaissance plane that flew literally at the edge of space at 80,000 feet at speeds over 2,000 miles per hour. They had to be fueled in air because the body would actually leak fuel on the ground, and because of the heat and expansion, the body expanded so much. The body of this plane is actually made out of titanium. These things are huge. I never realized how big they were. It's one of the biggest planes in this room.
If you haven't read the storyboard about this car, what do you think it was used for? It was used for as a recruiting tool. It's never been on a special ops mission. It's never done anything spy-like. But it had, you could drive it from either side. In the dark, it had cameras you could see 360 around it. It has a couple computer screens on each side. And the Air Force would take this around to high schools and let all the kids see this and say, oh yeah, you two can work on something as snazzy as this, and they use it for recruiting. Now a month or so ago we were told that Jay Leno wants to borrow this car to do a special on it for Jay's girl. The Air Force said, well, you can borrow it, but you also have to pay for it to go to California and bring it back. So it hasn't left yet.
There's Kennedy's airplane, and Lyndon Johnson was sworn in on that. Over here we have Harry Truman's plane. It was the first Air Force One. We've got other smaller planes that were used by Clinton and Eisenhower. Eisenhower was actually a pilot and he flew himself sometimes. Gulfstream Aerospace C-20B. It was used by President Clinton, George H. Bush, Gerald Ford. This is Eisenhower's plane. He used this for short flights. He was used for his ranch in Gettysburg. Air Commander UB-4B. That was a lot to see. I've been here since 10 o'clock this morning. It's now a little after 4, and I easily could have spent more time. Probably could spend 2 days here. You know, you can do it in 1 day if you want to just kind of look at everything and not read that much. But if you really want to get into it, and there's a lot here to get into, you probably want to plan on having 2 days, come back a second day, and kind of work it in sections. One thing you really should do, one of the things I did is when I came here in the morning, I went to the back of the museum and worked my way backwards, so I avoided the crowds that way. So it really wasn't bad. And there's also some really great guided tours here that you can take. Pretty much there's one for every building, and there's 4 buildings. They run multiple times during the day, morning and afternoon. and highly would recommend you at least take one or a couple of those. It's something if I were to come back, I definitely would, try to take a couple more of the tours, especially the back building with presidential airplanes. I think that'd be a good one to take a tour on. But definitely well worth the time, and I will be back here at some point, maybe in the fall when we come back through this part of the country on our way out west or something. It was really very enjoyable.